Football is back, and Thursday night is going to give Bengals fans their first real chance to see this team in action. Joe Burrow is expected to play. Jamar Chase is expected to play. Higgins is expected to be on the field. Dexter Lawrence is expected to make his Bengals debut. And even though this is only the preseason opener, there are a lot of important things worth watching once the game starts. The biggest names will obviously get most of the attention early, but the real story of the night could come after the starters leave the field and the roster battles begin. Before we get started, don't forget to like the video and let me know. Are you excited about the team that's taking shape? There are a lot of players vying for spots right now, and Thursday night might start giving us some concrete answers. So, leave your opinion in the comments, and let's discuss it. Now, let's get to what matters. Everything starts with Joe Burrow and this offense. If Burrow is going to play, there is really only one thing Bengals fans should want to see. Get on the field, move the football, score a touchdown, and get him out of the game. That would be the perfect start. The Lions are not expected to play their starters, while Cincinnati is expected to have most of its starting offense available. Burrow should have Jamar Chase. He should have Higgins. The offensive line is bringing back all 5 starters. So if that group is going to be on the field together, you want to see them look sharp immediately. Nobody needs Burrow playing deep into the first half. Nobody needs Chase taking unnecessary preseason hits. Nobody needs Higgins out there for a long period of time. Get some good work. Finish a drive. Get to the sideline healthy. There has also been some attention on how much Cincinnati might operate under center, but this is not expected to suddenly become the identity of the Bengals offense. It can be part of what they do, but the expectation is still that the offense will look a lot like the one we are used to seeing. The most important thing is execution. If Burrow and the first-team offense can march down the field and finish the opening drive with a touchdown, there really would not be much more you could ask from them. Then get the starters out. And the same idea applies to the defense. One of the biggest moments of the night is going to be seeing Dexter Lawrence in Bengals colors. Even if he only plays a few snaps, Bengals fans are finally going to get their first game look at Lawrence lining up on this defensive front. And there is a chance we get to see Jonathan Allen and Dexter Lawrence next to each other. That alone is going to be worth watching. Cincinnati will not have its entire defensive front available. Shamar Stewart is not expected to play, and B.J. Hill is also expected to be out. Still, the chance to see Lawrence on the field is one of the biggest reasons to watch the opening defensive series. And just like with Burrow, the ideal situation is simple. Get one good series. Force a 3-and-out. Let Lawrence get a couple of snaps. Then take him out of the game. There is no reason to make this complicated. For players such as Burrow, Chase, Higgins, and Lawrence, the biggest questions are going to be how effective they look and how long they stay on the field. If the offense scores a touchdown, the defense forces a quick stop, and everybody important leaves the game healthy, Bengals fans should feel good about the first part of the night. After that, the evaluation really begins. Barrett Carter and Demetrius Knight are 2 players who need these game repetitions. They are not in the same situation as Burrow or Chase. They need the opportunity to get comfortable in a real game environment. There has been confidence around how much better they feel compared with last year. Now they get a chance to show it. The Lions will not have Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, or Jameson Williams out there. So for Carter and Knight, this is a chance to focus on the basics. Know where to go. Make the tackle. Play with confidence. Handle assignments correctly. That would be a really encouraging sign for this defense. The secondary is another area worth watching because Cincinnati will not have everybody available. Brian Cook is expected to be out after dealing with a hamstring issue. Dax Hill is also expected to miss the game. That means Jordan Battle and Kyle Duggar could get important work together. How comfortable do they look? How much does DJ Turner play? And what happens once the Bengals start going deeper into the cornerback rotation? Takario Davis is one of the players to watch. Jalen Davis, Brylan Lux, and Josh Newton could also see important opportunities. This defense will not be whole Thursday night, so nobody should overreact to the overall performance. There are important players missing, but individual performances still matter. And Cassius Howell is one of the names that should have Bengals fans paying attention. Howell has looked really good in camp. Thursday is his first opportunity to show whether that can translate into a game. You want to see the energy. You want to see him get after the quarterback. You want to see whether he can create pressure and make an impact. A strong performance would only add to the momentum he has already created in practice. The defensive line gets even more interesting once the established players come out. Myles Murphy is already a known piece. Jonathan Allen and Dexter Lawrence do not need a lot of work. Boy Mafe is making his Bengals debut, but he is expected to be a starter, so there is no need to see a huge number of snaps from him either. The real intrigue comes deeper in the rotation. TJ Slayton, McKinley Jackson, Chris Jenkins, Jordan Jefferson, and Howard Cross are all part of a crowded group. That means snaps matter. How do they hold up? Who makes plays? Who gets pushed around? Who creates pressure? Who gives the coaching staff a reason to keep giving him opportunities? These may not be the names that dominate the headlines, but these are the players preseason football is really made for. The same thing applies on the edge. Isaiah Foskey is worth watching. Antoine Powell-Ryland is another interesting player because he can be used as an edge defender and pass-rushing linebacker. Cedric Johnson is also part of the conversation. Is there a clear order developing between those players? Thursday could give us our first clue. Linebacker has competition too. Oren Burks appears to be in a strong position. Shaka Hayward also looks close to secure. Joe Giles Harris appears to be around that fifth linebacker spot, but there are other players trying to change that. Eric Gentry is especially interesting because there has not been a lot to see from him in camp. Maybe Thursday becomes his opportunity. How many snaps does he get? Can he make a play? Can he force himself into the conversation? Jack Dingle is another player trying to do the same thing. And then you get to cornerback, where the nickel spot still looks open enough to make this game meaningful. DJ Ivey has had a really strong camp. He has been tested against T. Higgins repeatedly, which is not exactly an easy assignment. Now he gets a chance to show what that practice work looks like against another team. If Ivey continues playing well, he could put himself in position to compete for an important role on defense. The fourth safety spot is another battle worth watching. Jordan Battle, Brian Cook, and Kyle Duggar are viewed as secure. Behind them, P.J. Jules, Dijon Anthony, and Russ Yeast are competing. Those are the kinds of battles that can change quickly during the preseason. One big play can matter. One mistake can matter. And when the starters leave the field, that is where Thursday gets really interesting. On offense, Taji Brooks might be one of the biggest names to watch. There is not much Bengals fans need to learn about Chase Brown or Samaje Perine in a preseason opener. Brooks is different. This is his opportunity to show he can handle more responsibility. Can he run the football effectively? Can he protect the quarterback? Can he function in a pass-first offense? Can he handle everything that comes with the running back position? This will be his first real chance to show that in a game. Wide receiver might be even more interesting. Kobe Hudson has been making a lot of plays in training camp, and now everybody wants to see whether he can do the same thing Thursday night. There has been plenty of conversation around Andre Iosivas because of how well Hudson has performed. But this does not necessarily need to be a situation where one player wins and the other disappears. Both could have different roles. Both could matter. The important thing Thursday is seeing whether Hudson's camp performance translates. When Joe Flacco enters the game, we could see combinations involving Hudson, Iosivas, Charlie Jones, and Mitch Tinsley. The receiver room is crowded, and that makes every opportunity valuable. Charlie Jones is competing. Mitch Tinsley is competing. Other receivers are trying to make enough plays to stay in the conversation. That is exactly why the second half of a preseason game can sometimes tell you more than the first quarter. The offensive line has its own major question. Who is going to become the swing tackle? Javon Foster is part of that competition. Christian Jones is part of it. Andrew Coker is part of it. Jalen Rivers has spent more time working on the interior, so his situation is different. Cody Ford is another player to watch after losing weight. Does he look quicker? Does he move better? Does the change show up when he is actually playing in a game? That could matter a lot when Cincinnati evaluates its depth. Brian Parker is also worth watching because the Bengals would love to find out whether he can handle both guard and center. That kind of versatility can be extremely valuable. If Cincinnati can finish the preseason feeling confident about a swing tackle and confident that Parker can play multiple interior positions, that would answer two important depth questions. Connor Lew will not play Thursday night. He is coming back from an ACL injury, so there is no need to rush him. The positive part is that he has already been able to get first-team work in practice. At tight end, Eric All will not play either. Considering the serious knee injury he is coming back from, being cautious makes sense. The Bengals already know that All is expected to matter. Mike Gesicki is going to matter. Drew Sample is going to matter. The more interesting battle is behind them. Tanner Hudson, Cam Grandy, and Jack Endries are among the players competing. Hudson recently made a contested touchdown catch in practice. Grandy has received first-team repetitions. Endries will have an opportunity to show what he can do as a blocker and pass catcher. With All sitting out, there should be more opportunities for those players to make an impression. Then there is the quarterback rotation. How much does Joe Flacco actually play? That is going to affect a lot of the evaluation around him. One possible approach would be Burrow for a drive, Flacco for a drive or two, Josh Johnson for part of the game, and Sean Clifford later. That is not guaranteed to be how Zach Taylor divides the snaps, but the rotation is worth watching because it will influence which receivers, running backs, and offensive linemen play together. There are also under-the-radar players who could make the game interesting. Jamal Haynes is an undrafted free agent running back worth watching. Kendall Milton and Gary Brightwell are also part of the battle deeper in that room. Eric Gentry has an opportunity on defense. The reserve corners have an opportunity. The backup defensive linemen have an opportunity. And that is really the biggest theme of this entire game. Most of the Bengals' starting jobs are not up for grabs. So this preseason opener is not about discovering who the major stars are. It is about depth. It is about the nickel spot. It is about backup linebacker. It is about the fourth safety. It is about swing tackle. It is about running back depth. It is about the final receiver spots. It is about which tight end separates himself. Those are real battles. And for the players involved, Thursday night is not meaningless football. The perfect night for Cincinnati would be simple. Burrow looks sharp. The starting offense scores. Dexter Lawrence gets his first action in Bengals colors. The defense gets off the field quickly. The stars stay healthy. Then the young players and backups take over. That is when Bengals fans should really start watching closely. Watch Tajee Brooks in pass protection. Watch Cassius Howell rushing the passer. Watch Kobe Hudson when the ball comes his way. Watch Barrett Carter and Demetrius Knight. Watch the backup tackles. Watch the defensive tackle rotation. Watch DJ Ivy in the secondary. Watch which players are getting snaps before the others. That is where the real preseason information will come from. Thursday is the first chance to see whether what has been happening in camp can survive when another team lines up across from Cincinnati. For the veterans, this is a tune-up. For the players fighting for roster spots and bigger roles, this is an opportunity they cannot waste. And by the end of the night, we should have a much better idea of which players are beginning to separate themselves. Now, I want to hear from Bengals fans. What are you watching closest Thursday night? Do you want Burrow and the starting offense to get one drive, score a touchdown, and immediately head to the sideline? Are you most excited to see Dexter Lawrence in Bengals colors? Or are you more interested in players like Tajee Brooks, Cassius Howell, Kobe Hudson, Barrett Carter, Demetrius Knight, and the depth battles across the roster? Drop your opinion in the comments and tell me which player you believe has the most to gain in this preseason. Opener. Football is finally here. Hoo day!